Term loan procedure are those if you want to apply any loan. So what is the procedure generally? So first of all, evaluation, low cost and high risk, right? It involves, generally we should see that the loan should be of the low cost and it should have, like, if it has a high risk, you should evaluate such all kind of risk. Then the term loan procedure is how, what kind of procedure is followed? First of all, project appraisal. We need to have a project appraisal. What are the different types of projects involved? So we need to study how project is going to benefit us, and what are the things involved in the project. So those things should be uh, prepared very well. Then market appraisal has to be done. Who will be our customers? How we are going to do the marketing and various things related to market. So that all appraisal has to be done. Technical appraisal has to be done. Then financial appraisal, and finally managerial appraisal has to be done. So by all these things, like whether it is a project, market, technical, financial, and managerial, you will get a thorough idea. And we this by these all things, our loan procedure will get successful. Okay, our loan procedure is going to become successful. Okay, next external source and very important source is debentures. So debentures are long-term loan certificates issued by limited companies. The companies, they can issue the long-term certificates to the debenture holders, to the public. The public, they can come forward and they can buy debentures from the company, and the company is going to pay interest to the debenture holders. Debenture can be used to raise very long-term finance, for example 25 years also. So if a company wants a loan where the loan, they find the cost of loan is more from the bank or a financial institution, in that case the company can go for debentures. Debentures are issued to the general public. General public, they can buy this debenture, they can get this debenture for a period at least, like even in case of 25 years, it can be less also, but up to 25 years it can be issued. As with the loans, these must be repaid and interest must be paid here also. In the case of loan, what you do, you will take a loan, you have to pay the principal as well as you have to pay the interest to the bank. Similar case it applies for debentures. In debentures also, you need to repay the debenture amount, whatever it is. With that, you have to pay interest to the debenture holders, right? Next is, in this, just like shares, debentures are also instruments for raising long-term finance. Why it is done is because to raise the long-term finance, we want to invest our money for the long-term purpose. We want to invest in any kind of the capital expenditures, or we want to buy any capital assets. There, your own money won't be sufficient, so you will look after debentures. So debenture is a document that either creates a debt or acknowledges it, and is a debt without collateral. So what do you mean by this? See, when you take a loan in the bank or a financial institution, they will have some securities as a collateral. If you are unable to pay the loan, the securities what you have kept as collateral, by that bank is going to recover the funds. Financial institution is going to recover your funds, but that is not in the case of debentures. In debentures, this is like unsecured creditors, where you won't be getting any kind of collateral, or you won't be getting any kind of things as a security. So they will be issuing you a document which is called as a bond or a certificate. With that bond or a certificate, if the company is unable to give you interest or your debenture amount, you have a right to file a complaint against a company. Okay. So what are the attributes? When you talk about debentures, what are the things you should keep in mind? First is interest rate. In debentures, you will get interest, while in equity shares, you won't get any interest. The people who are investing in debentures, they will get some interest, and that interest will be fixed, like some 10% is the interest, 12% is the interest. So the people will be getting interest here. And debentures, some of the debentures are convertible debentures, right? And some are non-convertible debentures. So convertible debentures are those which can be converted into the other instruments or other kind of securities like shares, or they can be converted into preference shares, equity shares. So they have a full right of conversion. So such type of debentures have a full convertibility. Debentures have security compared to equity shares, compared to the preference shares. Debentures are more secured. The reason is, whenever a company will make a loss, whenever a company is about to shut down, first of all, the company has to pay loans and advances which they have taken from bank and financial institutions. Then, if any surplus or money is still remaining, then the money has to be paid for debenture holders first. After that, if anything else is remaining, anything is still surplus is remaining, then it should be paid to preference shareholders. And after paying preference shareholders, if again surplus is remaining, then finally it will be paid to equity shareholders. In that case, the debentures will have a more security. Then debentures can be having a value as a redemption, right? If the company wants, they can buy back these debentures, right? Whenever the company is feeling as a burden to pay the interest to the debenture holders, in some cases the company is going to do that also. So credit rating and trustees. In case of debentures, there has to be a credit rating by some of the agencies, as well as there has to be a nomination of some of the trustee for speaking in favor of all the debenture holders, right? That has to be done. Then debenture redemption reserve has to be kept. As you keep reserves, as we are keeping some retained earnings, similarly, whenever a company is issuing any kind of debentures to the debenture holders, then they have to keep some amount of money as debenture redemption reserve. That is also a kind of attribute. Now, the next kind of external source of financing is factoring of debt. What do you mean by factoring of debt? Debt factor are specialist agencies that buy the debt of the firm for immediate cash. Okay. Now, the firm has to get something which is yet to be received, which a company or a firm has not received. In the near future, your company is going to receive it. So what you will do, you are very much urgent in, you require very much cash very urgently, or your any kind of emergency or any of the need of your company. In that case, what you will do, whatever your debts are there of the firm, for the immediate cash, you are going to keep it. That they may offer 90% of the value of existing debt and collect it from the debtor for the full amount, hence make a profit. Like, see, somebody is there who has to pay you money. Some outsider is there. To your firm, he is liable to pay some funds or a money. But what happened in that case is, you were urgently in requirement of some funds. So what you told is, you sold your all debt to some outsider or some of the factoring companies. So factor, we call that person who takes all the debt is called as a factor. So he took your debt and he paid you 90% of the value of that particular sum. Like, you were about to receive 10 lakhs. So 90% of that you got. 90% of that, like 9 lakh rupees you received. And that maturity date is after some 8 days. And after 8 days, when that factor is going to receive from that person who is liable to pay us money, there he is not going to receive 9 lakh, there he is going to receive 10 lakh rupees. So such kind of debt we call here as factoring of debt. And this is very benefited because it gives you immediate cash is made available. Immediately you will get a cash. Whatever your kind of debt you are going to receive, sell it in the market, sell it to the factor, get the immediate cash. Okay. The case is, suppose 1 crore is there, which you have to receive from some parties, or in some cases 10 crore is there. Amount is huge. When amount is huge, if you call 90%, right, of 10 crores, so in that case, you're receiving only 9 crores. So remaining 1 crore totally is what? It is a loss for you. So in that case, you can find that is a negative point of a factoring of a debt. Next is grants and subsidies from outside agencies. And another external source of financing is that you can get grants and subsidies from outside agencies. Outside agencies like the government or not for profit institutions can support business by giving funds in the form of grants or subsidies. Like in India, we have PMKY is there, right? PMKY is there, or CMKY is there, or any other kind of some of the schemes are there. By those schemes, the government is going to announce or some institutions who are not profit organization institution, not for profit organization. So those institutions will also give you some kind of support, financial support. They do not have to be repaid. In some cases, if it is repaid, but it is not repaid like interest, you don't have to repay, only principal you need to repay. So it is more benefited for a person. They are often given with the condition that the business has to comply with. For example, location, choice, employment, preference, etc. So whenever these subsidies are provided or grants are provided, they are having n number of conditions. If you don't fulfill one or two of the conditions, then you are not able to apply for it, or you will not get any grant or a subsidies. So it will be difficult to fulfill all those things. Like location also is there, choice of a location, employment, preference, etc. Kind of a business what you're doing. Next is microfinancing is also one kind of source where you can collect your money. But this is for low income developing countries as well as for traditional commercial banks, very unwilling to lend to a poor people because the small size of the loan means to the business. Like generally it is given for those who are wants to start their own business at a very small level, very negligible or very small amount will be given. But there are specialist institutions have been set up in the most developing country, even like India, to meet the financial needs of poor people, especially poor entrepreneurs. In entrepreneurs, there are of all kind. What we think is that entrepreneurs are only rich, right? Whenever the word comes about entrepreneur, we think that entrepreneur is only a person who is very rich. No, the entrepreneur is a person who can be rich, poor, social entrepreneur. So many people will come under that. So this people who are unemployed and who wants to set up their own business with their own skills. So here, such for those skillful people who are specialists in some or other field, the microfinancing kind of institution are supporting. So, and these kind of things are external source of financing. And this, the profit generated is very low to the microfinances because the size of the investment is very low. So here, the profit what generated by the microfinancing is very low because the microfinancing already they provide investment for very low amount, and there is a risk of non-payment also for microfinance because many people they take loan or they take some advances from these kind of microfinance, and then when they are unable to pay the loan, they will not be having any single rupees to recover. So many of the microfinancing institutions or schemes or the institution of the government are under a loss. Splitting funds in terms of longevity, we split funds in terms of short term and long term finance. Okay, so the first classification we did as internal and external. Remember this, the sources of finance, the first classification is internal source of finance and external source of finance. Now the second source we are seeing